Natalie, what do you have for us?
That's right, Brighton. There is a ton of food here to choose from, but right here what I have is what's bringing everyone to the fair. It's the donuts covered in Texas Pete sauce. That's right, donuts in Texas Pete sauce. We have everything you can choose from fried hamburgers all the way down to fried ice cream, but I decided to choose this today. I'm going to taste it for you guys just to give you what I think about it. For 2 days, UNC students were told to boil water before drinking it. OWASA lifted that advisory last night and classes resumed at 8 a.m. Peyton, we are so fortunate that Hurricane Florence didn't leave much damage here on UNC's campus, but that's exactly why the university is doing everything it can to help those who were affected. The fate of the toppled Silent Sam statue is still up in the air, and protesters also took to the sky. We'll have more on the story coming up. As you guys already know, it is Halloween time here in Chapel Hill. It's a holiday that I'm super excited about, so I went out and found all the fun things you can do here in Chapel Hill. It's Halloween time here at the Hill, and there's tons to do. There's games for the kids, spinning for all the candy. It's not all about the kids though. There's even dancing for the adults, and some fairly cute Halloween costume contests. We can't forget about that fall classic, pumpkin pie. But when it turns nighttime in Chapel Hill, there's no more time for trick-or-treating. The students come out to play.
And it's so cool to see people my age and people older even being involved in Halloween. I feel like in a normal town, it would not be that big of a deal. Adults our age would not be so involved with it. So it's really cool to be in Chapel Hill during this time of year.
And Franklin Street will be full of smiles all night, packing bars like he's not. Blue and pink cups in hand, cheering the night away from Chapel Hill's famous Halloween celebration.
You want some people on camera?
And I cannot wait to see all the costumes out here on Franklin Street tonight. That's all I got for you guys. Reporting from Franklin Street, I'm Natalie Hardin, Carolina Week. So on this week's of What's Trending, we have Taylor Sharp here to talk a little bit about his film on Hoops for Africa. So just relating it back to you, this is your alma mater and sharing your story. How was it, how did it feel when Varsity Theaters premiered your film?
It was so special to bring the film back to Chapel Hill because that's ultimately where it started. Chapel Hill really embraced this film. You know, it's a story about basketball in Africa. It's a story about the African philosophy of Ubuntu. But Chapel Hill, by supporting me, really brought the film right into this community. And I think that's really special because this African philosophy of Ubuntu ultimately comes back to community.
How specifically did you find out about Ubuntu?
So I happened to see kind of in the footnote to this article about the 2008 Boston Celtics who won the NBA championship that they were taught about the African philosophy of Ubuntu by a South African guy from this nonprofit Hoops for Hope. I am because we are. You know, is what it kind of translates out to. And I just fell in love with the people who use Ubuntu as a way of life. Mm-hmm. And through this Boston Celtics connection to the world, it was a way to weave it into NBA history forever.
Yeah. How and when did you come up with, this is something that I want to do, I feel inspired to do this?
It all comes back to my summer spent in 2013 in Zimbabwe. I was seeing these stories unfold before my very eyes, and when I left, I really made it my mission to be able to bring those stories back. I really fell in love with the people in Zimbabwe, the kids we worked with, the work that Hoops for Hope does. And so later, as Hoops for Hope, the organization, was partnering with the NBA, and the NBA was holding its first ever Africa game, my host little brother from Zimbabwe was selected as a top prospect to compete in a skills academy there. So I just realized that all these storylines were coalescing, and I felt a calling to document them together.
So what's next for you?
Through this film, I've realized that I have a great interest in finding myself at the intersection of sports and social impact and storytelling. So I plan to seek out those stories where people are using sport for good and trying to introduce them to the world.
Are there any other thoughts you want to share before we are finished?
Well, now that people know about the film, I hope they'll go watch it. It's on iTunes and Amazon, and after watching, you'll know all about why Ubuntu matters.